Hi, I'm Gina Eilers. As you listen to this, please remember, everything that I say here is my opinion, and I represent no one but myself. And this, the transgender experience is highly individualized. And my experience has led me to recognize many things, learn many things about myself and about the world. A book that I read on transgender, the very first words pointed out something very interesting. Think about the typical movie or even documentary about trans people or drag queens, female impersonators, or whatever it might be. It always starts out how? Showing us with the person putting on makeup, stockings, high heels, pretty dresses, everything that goes with making somebody hyper feminized, beautiful, as if what? As if that stuff that is so sexually charged to make us look pretty and so forth, as if that's the driving force behind what it is to be female. I'm only talking in the case of those who are male to female. There's so much prejudice automatically built in. And when folks who are cisgendered people, who their identity and their sexuality matches up with each other, when they see things like that and they don't understand transgender, they automatically think that we're, what, in this for the sex, that we're fetishists, that we're perverts, that it's all about the clothes and so forth. As I work toward, I think in the next video, talking about the bathroom issues and so forth, how these two things come together is that if folks' perception from the movies and such is that it's all about the sexuality, it's a sexually driven thing, then yeah, they're going to have some real strong feelings that when we're going into public spaces, especially private public spaces like bathrooms, that we're going to be there to create trouble for others. Here's what you need to know about transgender people. Whether they're, forgive my language, the simplest kind, like straight male to female transgender, or those who are gender fluid. We're just a bunch of regular human beings. As a year ago, I started to get involved in the transgender community here in Indianapolis, and I started going to meetings and making friends and all that type of thing. And we marched through dozens and dozens and dozens of people over the many meetings that I've gone to. Some come one or two times and some come regularly. So I've gotten to meet and listen to dozens and dozens of people. It's like the most regular bunch of people you ever want to meet in your life. We are, in a word, unremarkable. Unremarkable for where we live and what we do, and we're married people, we're single people, we're those who are a little older, as myself, transitioning, who are younger, everything you can imagine. As I've gotten to know people, and as I do a lot of reading on this, I've learned how we fulfill every job there is. I have friends that are engineers, more than one. I have several friends who are teachers, those who work in computer technology, factory workers, blue collar to white collar. I was a minister. I was a Christian Lutheran minister for 18 years. That forced me to pay really close attention to people, because I got to see people oftentimes in their worst situations, in some pretty bad behavior. I visited members in county lockup and in state prison because they did wrong things. Regular people doing wrong things. The folks that I'm getting to know are just a bunch of respectable, regular people. And so as I get to learn their jobs, then I find out, wow, these are people who have advanced degrees way more than the American average. People with bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, which I have, even doctorates. Folks in the military. folks go into the military, and a lot of males, and I know I'm male-centric on this thing, identified at birth male-centric because I'm male to female trans, so forgive me, trans men. But as I've paid attention over the years, those who have said that they took to skydiving, motorcycles, wearing facial hair, even those who it was so important to become husbands and father children and so forth, and those who have gone into the military to prove something to themselves. What did Caitlyn Jenner say, presenting still as Bruce, about when he simply needed to prove to himself that he was a guy fighting this so terrible, this gender identity struggle that Bruce had, and became the greatest athlete in the world. So often we're driven to work so hard to prove to ourselves who we are. And in the meantime, we become incredibly valuable people in society. So you have that aspect, and you have the other aspect that just because you're trans doesn't mean that you have loose morals, that you don't act respectably toward people, that you have interest in harming other people. This concerns me greatly, that anybody ever look at any one class of people and automatically assume a stereotype about them. All Germans are stubborn, right? All conservative Christians, that's me, are stuck in the past, are not reasonable, and all trans people are questionable in their morals, in how they practice sex and so forth, and they might harm you. We are the most regular people there are. We do all the jobs everybody else does. We live in the neighborhoods. We shop at all the stores. And you know what we want? We want to live in peace. We want the American dream just like everybody else, to have peace, the chance to prosper. And so we might be even a little bit more careful than the general public in how we live out there, because we don't want to invite trouble. And besides, we aren't interested in doing harm to anyone else, because we respect human beings, and maybe even a little bit more because of the struggle we've had to fight in respecting ourselves. That is a topic worth everyone's consideration. But at the 8-minute mark, it's a good place to stop. Thanks. Bye.